Hey everyone, welcome back to Tech Cloud Solution. If you are preparing for the Azure Fundamentals exam, you are in the right place. So this is part 3 of our Easy 900 exam question review series. If you haven't watched the previous parts, check out the playlist for complete coverage. If you want to download the PDF or simulate the exam like Microsoft's real test, visit our website Tech Cloud Solution for exclusive practice material. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth exam guides. Now, let's dive into today's questions. Question number 31. A support engineer plans to perform several Azure management tasks by using the Azure PowerShell. You need to tell the support engineer which tools to use to run the PowerShell. Which three tools should you instruct the support engineer to use? The options are Windows PowerShell, B. Use PowerShell in Azure Cloud Shell, C. Mac OS PowerShell, D. Azure Resource Explorer, and E. Mac OS PowerShell Core. So the correct answer is A. Windows PowerShell, then B. Use PowerShell in Azure Cloud Shell, and E. Mac OS PowerShell Core. So use PowerShell in Azure Cloud Shell. Azure Cloud Shell is a browser-based scripting environment that provides the flexibility of choosing the shell experience that best suits the way you work. Linux users can opt for a bash experience while Windows users can opt for PowerShell. Now other options Windows PowerShell. So Azure PowerShell is a module that you add to Windows PowerShell that enables you to connect to your Azure subscription and manage resources. PowerShell provides services such as the shell windows and command parsing. Azure PowerShell then adds the Azure specific commands. And the next option, Mac OS PowerShell Core. So PowerShell Core is a cross-platform version of PowerShell that runs on Windows, Linux or Mac OS. And all other options are not the correct. Question number 32. Your company plans to migrate all its network resources to Azure. You need to start the planning process for migration. What should you create first? The options are A. Subscription, B. Resource group, C. Virtual network, and D. Management group. So the correct answer is A. Subscription. So when you signed up to try out Azure, you created at least one subscription to get started. Every resource that is deployed must be associated with a subscription so that billing for that item can be processed. An account can have one subscription or multiple subscription that have different billing models and to which you apply different access management policies. You can use Azure subscriptions to define boundaries around Azure products, services, and resources. There are two types of subscription boundaries that you can use, including billing boundary and access control boundary. Question number 33. You need to view a list of planned maintenance events that can affect the availability of an Azure subscription. Which blade should you use from the Azure portal? The options are A. Advisor, B. Security Center, C. Help plus support, and D. Monitor. So the correct answer is C. So Azure Service Health is a suite of experience that provide personalized guidance and support when issues with Azure services affect you. It can notify you, help you understand the impact of issues, and keep you updated as the issue is resolved. Azure Service Health can also help you prepare for planned maintenance and charges that could affect the availability of your resources. Now other options are not correct as security center. So Azure Security Center is a monitoring service that provides threat protection across all of your services both in Azure and on premises. Next option we have monitor. So Azure Monitor helps you understand how your applications are performing and proactively identifies issues affecting the application. Monitors do not provide the capability to generate alerts based on usage. Now, the last option, Advisor. So, Azure Advisor Hub is a free service built into Azure that provides recommendation on high availability, security performance, operational excellence, and cost. Advisor analyzes your deployed services and looks for way to improve your environment across those five areas. Question number 34. How can the IT department use biometric properties such as facial recognition to enable delivery drivers to provide their identities? Select the correct options. The options are A. Azure Policy, B. SSO, C. Multi-factor authentication, and D. Conditional access. So the correct answer is C. Multi-factor authentication. So authentication through multi-factor authentication can include something the user knows, something the user has, and something the user is. Now other options are not correct and look why. So SSO. Although SSO enables a user to remember only one ID and one password to access multiple applications, it doesn't use biometric properties to verify the user's identity. Next option, Azure Policy. So Azure Policy applies restriction on resources and not on users. Then the last option, Conditional Access. So although conditional access enables you to allow or deny access to resources based on identity signal, it doesn't use biometric properties to verify the user's identity. Question number 35. You are planning to map a network drive from several computers that run Windows 10 to Azure storage. You need to create a storage solution in Azure for the planned map drive. What should you use? So the correct options are A. Blob service in a storage account, B. Azure SQL database, C. Virtual machine data disk, and D. File service in a storage account. So the correct answer is D. So Azure Files enables you to set up highly available network file share that can be accessed by using the standard server message block protocol. That means that multiple VMs can share the same files with both read and write access. Other options, that is blobs service in a storage account. So Azure Blob Storage is a Microsoft's object storage solution for the cloud, optimized for storing massive amounts of unstructured data such as text or binary data. It's not ideal storage for virtual machines. Then the option we have virtual machine data disk is incorrect as VM data disk can be linked to one VM at a time. Then we have Azure SQL database. So Azure SQL is a relational database and cannot be used as a file share for virtual machine. So if you want to practice similar types of questions or quizzes, or you want the resources in a PDF format, then you can refer our official websites, that is Tech Cloud Solution. Here you will get the AZ900, AZ104 or AWS PDF and quizzes. So I will give you the link of my websites in the comment section. You can refer the link and you can check it out after watching this video. Question number 36. You are planning to deploy static websites to Azure. The websites will be accessed by users worldwide and will host large videos file. You need to recommend an Azure feature that must be used to provide the best video playback experience. What should you recommend? The options are A. Network interface, B. Azure Traffic Manager, C. Application Gateway, and D. Azure Content Delivery Network. So the correct answer is D. So content delivery network is a distributed network of servers that can efficiently deliver web content to users. So in this scenario, video file will be cached on CDN edge location and will be served to users in their local region to minimize latency, which will provide the best video playback experience. So other options are not correct as application gateway. So Azure Application Gateway is a web traffic load balancer that enables you to manage traffic to your web applications. An application gateway is helpful to improve the availability of application by distributing load only to a healthy application servers, but cannot help in application performance and fast user experience. Next option, Azure Traffic Manager. So Azure Traffic Manager is a DNS based traffic load balancer that enables you to distribute traffic optimally to services across global Azure regions while providing high availability and responsiveness. Traffic managers can improve performance by using a latency based profile, but in this case, you will need to host application in multiple regions close to users, which will increase your cost and effort to manage server. Then the last option, network interface. So a network interface enables an Azure virtual machines to communicate with the internet, Azure and on-premises resources. It cannot help to improve web content delivery to end users. Question number 37. The compute options give you different levels of control over the configuration of the environment in which your application runs. Which of the following list the compute options in order of your control from most? Control to least control. Select the correct option. The options are A. Virtual machines, container, serverless computing. B. Containers, serverless computing, virtual machine. C. All are the same levels of control. And D. Serverless computing, containers, and virtual machines. So the correct options is A. So virtual machine comes under infrastructure as a service offering and provides the most control like installing the operating system, deploying applications, managing traffic. Then containers provide a consistent isolated execution environment for application. They are similar to VMs except they don't require a guest operating system. Instead, the application and all its dependencies are packaged into a container and then a standard runtime environment is used to execute the app. And the last, serverless computing. So it lets you run application code without creating, configuring, or maintaining a server. The core idea is that your application is broken into separate functions that run when triggered by some action, which makes it easy to develop, deploy, and execute code without worrying about the underlying hardware, operating system, or application containers. Question number 38. This question requires you to evaluate the text inside to determine if it is correct. As a best practice, all resources that part of an application and share the same life cycle should exist in the same resource group. Select no change needed if the above statement is correct, otherwise select the correct answer. The options are A. Management group, B. Availability set, C. Reason, D. No change needed. So the correct answer is D. So resource groups allows you to logically group Azure resources together. This allows you to manage the application collectively over its life cycle rather than manage components individually. Other options are not correct as management group. So management groups are containers that help you manage access, policy and compliance for multiple subscription. All subscription in a management group automatically inherit the conditions applied to the management group. Then we have region. So region is a geographical area on the planet containing at least one but potentially multiple data centers that are in close proximity and network together with a low latency network. Then the last option, availability sets. So availability sets ensure your application remains online if a high impact maintenance event is required or if a hardware failure occurs with 99.95% Azure SLA. Availability sets are made of update domain and fault domain. Question number 39. This question requires you to evaluate the text inside to determine if it is correct. An Azure availability zone can be used to protect from an Azure data center failure. Select no change needed if the above statement is correct, otherwise, select the correct answer. The options are A. A physical server failure, B. A storage failure, C. An Azure region failure, and D. No change needed. So the correct answer is D. So availability zones are physically separated location with their own power, cooling and networking within an Azure region. Azure can help make your app highly available through availability zones with 99.99% Azure SLA. Then the other options are not correct as Azure region failure. So the entire region can fail in case of any disaster, which means all availability zones in the region failed. The process of recovery from a region failure is called disaster recovery. Options, a physical server failure. So physical server failure can be handled using availability sets. Availability sets ensure your application remains online if a high impact maintenance event is required or if a hardware failure occurs with 99.95% Azure SLA. Then the last option is storage failure. So storage failure is handled by continuously replicating storage to secondary storage. Question number 40. Your company is planning to move several servers to Azure. The company's compliance policy states that a server named special server must be on a separate network segment. You are evaluating Azure services that can be used to meet the compliance policy requirements. Which Azure solution should you recommend? The options are A VPN gateway for a special server and a virtual network gateway for each other server. B. One resource group for all the servers and a resource lock for a special server. C. A virtual network for a special server and another virtual network for all the other servers. And D. A resource group for a special server and another resource group for all the other servers. So the correct answer is C. So using two virtual networks will make sure that servers in one VNet will not be able to connect to a special server in another VNet. Azure Virtual Network is the fundamental building block for your private network in Azure. VNet enables many types of Azure resources such as Azure virtual machines to securely communicate with each other, the internet and on-premises network. Other options are not correct as a resource group for a special server and another resource group for all the other servers. So resource groups is a unit of management for resources in Azure, allows you to logically group Azure resources together. Virtual machines and different resources group will still be able to communicate with each other if resources are created in the same VNet. Then the next option, a VPN gateway for a special server and a virtual network gateway for each other server. So Azure Virtual Private Network Gateway is used to send encrypted network traffic between an Azure virtual network and an on-premises location over the public internet. It does not help in restricting communication between two virtual networks. Then the next option we have one resource group for all the servers and a resource lock for a special server. So Azure Lock allows to lock Azure resources like subscription, resource group, or other resources to prevent other users in your organization from accidentally deleting or modifying critical resources. It does not help in restricting communication between two virtual machines. So that's it for today's Azure Fundamentals Easy 900 exam question review. I hope these tips and tricks help you feel more confident for your exam. So don't forget, you can download the PDF and take a real exam simulation on our website's Tech Cloud Solution. I will give the link in the comment section. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe for more in depth exam prep, and let me know in the comments how your preparation is going.